that the responses can be designated as correct or incorrect. And since it is correct or incorrect, that means there is something called difficulty level. So the item analysis for the test will be done on the basis of difficulty level, and the second is discrimination index. And discrimination index is also called validity index. Sometime in the interview, the question is asked that what is another name of the discrimination index, or what is another name of a validity index. So you must know both these things. Now, the item analysis for the scale and inventory was done only on the basis of the discrimination. But in the test, it has to be done on the basis of both discrimination as well as difficulty level. So let me tell you how to find out the difficulty level of each item and how to find out the discrimination index of each item. Now, according to this, the group, the field tryout, you have administered your tool, your test on 400 people. And you have already scored it and got the total marks for each student. So you have the total marks of the 400 students. Then I told you, you arrange the marks either in the ascending order or in the descending order. And after done, suppose you do in the descending order, then from the top, take 27%. And 27% of 400 is 108. So from the top, you count 108. And up to that will be your people who belong to the top 27%. Then you start from the bottom and you come up, start counting from the bottom one. And when you come across 108 case, then these cases will be the 27% bottom. So now you have this situation. So you have here, this is your serial number. So this is the serial number of the okay. This is the, or you can say item number. So this is your first item. This is your second item, third item, fourth item, fifth item. You have sixth item. You have seventh item. Okay, like this you have. Now you have here the top 27%. And here you have bottom 27%. Now you have item number one. and you find out of 108, those who belong to the top, what percentage of the people answered this question correctly. Let us say there were 90% of the people, they answered the question correctly. Then you find out the bottom 27%, that out of 108, from the bottom, how many people attempted it correctly? Say 30% attempted it correctly. Then you can find out the difficulty level. And difficulty level will be 90 plus 30. And this whole divided by 2. You take the average. 90 divided by 30 is 120. 120 divided by 2 is 60. So that means it is 60% of the people, they attempted it correctly. And 60, if you divide it by 100, then this will be 0.60. That is the difficulty level. So either you can say 60% as the difficulty level, or you can say 0.60 as a difficulty level. Suppose there is another question that 10% of the people, they attempted it correctly. And here also 10% of the people attempted it correctly. So 10 plus 10 is 20. So 20 divided by 2 is 10%. And 10% is nothing but 0.10. Suppose there is another question. Here, 10% from the top, they attempted it correctly. And from the bottom, let us say there are 15% they attempted correctly. So that means it is 25. So it is 25 divided by 2. So that will be equal to 12.5%. And that means it will be 0.125. Now here is another question that 80% people attempted it correctly. And here 60% of the people attempted it correctly. So it is 140. 140 divided by 2 is equal to 70%. And 70% is equal to 0.70. Now here is a question where, let's say, let's say 16% of the people attempted it correctly. And here only 4% of the people attempted it correctly. So this is 20 divided by 2 will be equal to 10. And this 10%. And this means 0.10. Now here is another question. And here, let's say, 95% of the people have attempted it correctly. And here, let's say 85% of the people have attempted it correctly. So this will be 180. So 180 divided by 2 will be equal to the 90%. And this will be equal to 0.90. So this is how you can calculate the difficulty level. And now we have to calculate the discrimination index. Now, how do we calculate the discrimination index? Now, for calculating the discrimination index, if you have a Garrett book, in the Garrett book, there is a table and it is called Flanagan's table. I have for you the Flanagan's table. This is the Flanagan's table. It is a very big table. So you can see the table. Okay. And now here, how to use this particular table. Let me now try to explain you. Now, this is the top 27% cases. So you have 2%, 6%, 10%, 14%, 18%, 22%, 26%, 30%, like that. They are from the top. And this is the bottom. On the left hand, on my right hand side, you can see my cursor. 2%, 6%, 10%. Or you can see from left hand side also 2%, 6%, 10%, it's all the same. Now, if you see your first item, it is 90%. So 90% is here. This is 90%. So this is the 90%. Then it is 30%. So let us see where is the 30%. So let me now. So if you see this complete is 90 and this is 30, can any one of you tell me what is the value here? And in this value, you have to put point. All these are in decimals because these are correlations. So can you tell me what is the value given here in the cross one where my cursor is? Read this value where my cursor is. Can any one of you can tell me what is the value here? Okay, what is the value of where it is it is red? Can any one of you read what is the value here? I'm waiting for your answer. Manish, I told you, you have to put the decimal sign. All these are decimals. So tell me what is the value. Because if I put decimal, it will be very long table, which will not come on this. Yes. तबस्सुम ईद मुबारक आपके पूरे परिवार को. Yes. So therefore now you know that here the discrimination index is 0.63. That's correct. So I have seen. So for this, it is 0.63. Now here is another one. It is 10% from the top and 10% from the bottom. Now, if you see, this is 10% from the top. This is 10% from the top and this is the 10% from the bottom. Can you see what is the value? 10% from the top and 10% from the bottom. Thank you, Tabassum. Can you tell me what is the value? Now, even if you do not see the table, if the equal number of the people from the top and the bottom, if they are answering the question correctly, that means that question is not difficult. Because if it is difficult, then people from the bottom should not answer that particular question correctly. So therefore, whenever it is the same, then you can say that here the discrimination is 0. Now, next is this 10% and 15%. Now, top is 10% and then it is 15%. So this is my 10% here. This is the 10%. And now we have to go to 15%. Or you can say that this is if I say that 10% and 15%, so 15% will be here. So if I say, because you can take either top here or on the side, it does not make a difference because I have not written the value here where my cursor is. Can anyone of tell you what is the value here? That 2 and 2 is 0, 2 and 6 is 0.18. Then 2 and 6 will be what? It is a correlation, so it will be again 0.19. Okay, so 2 and 6 is 0.19, 6 and 2 is also 0.19. Then here, this 2 and 10 is 0.30. So 2 and 10 is 0.30. And now you know that 2 and 14 is 0.37. 2 and 14 is 0.37. And 2 and 18 is 0.43. So it is 0.43. So like this, I can find out. Now here it is that 2 and 6 is okay. And now it is 10 and 10 is this okay. Then it is 6 and 10. So therefore it is 10 and 6. 10 and 6 is 0.11. So it will be 11. And then it is 6 and 14. So 6 and 14 is 19. So it will be 19. And then it is 6 and 18. So 6 and 18 is 26. So this will be 26. Now, similarly, I can find out this value, that it is 10 and 14. So I can say this is 10 and this is 14 is 08. So it is 08. And so it is 18, 18 and 10. So 10 and 18 is 15. So now the value which I have to find out is 10 and 15. So I know the value of 10 is here, and then 15 will be so to find out 15, I should know the value of 10 and 14 and 10 and 18. Now, can any one of you tell me that once the value of 10 and 14 is 0.08 and 10 is 18 is 0.15, then what will be the value of 10 and 15? Can any one of you calculate and tell me? No, Tabassum, it's not 1.0. No. Because for 14% it is 0.08 and 18% it is 0.15. So let me tell you that when it is 14%, then the value is 0.08. And when it is 18, then the value is 0.18. So it is 0.15, not 18, 0.15. So it is 0.15. Now, when the difference 14 and 18 is 4 is the difference. When the difference is 4, then what is the difference between these? It is 0.07. And when it is 1, then what is the difference? 0.07 divided by 4. And 0.07, when you divide it by 4, then it is 0.0. Zero 0.117. So therefore, you can see it here that if you have 0.07 when divided by 4, the answer is 0.0175. So I can say 0.0175 if you want. Now, when the 14, this is the value, then for one difference, the value is this. So for the 15, the 15%, the value will be 0.08 plus 0.0175. because for one value of the difference, the value comes to this much. And then if you add this, then this becomes the value here. So this is 0.08. So this will be 0.0975. 0.0975. So here 0.0975. So the value comes to here that 10 and 15 is 0.0975. So this is the value which will be here. Now it is 80 and 60. Now, please understand one more thing, that in this case, the less number of the people from the top, they are attempted correctly, and more percentage of the people from the bottom, they are attempting it correctly. So there are more from the bottom and less from the top, then the value is minus. So discrimination in this case is a minus. In all other cases, from the top, more percentage of the people are attempting it correctly. Now next is 80 and 60. So I can find out 80. So I have, this is 78. So it is 80 and 60. All right. So 80 will be between 78 and 82. Okay. And then I go to 60. Then I'm going to 60. So 60, this is 46, 56, 54, 58, and 66. Now you have to concentrate on this. This is 58. And this is 66. So now for your understanding purpose, I'll give the values. When it is 78 and 82, so when the values are 78%, okay, and let us say here is 82%, 78 and 82. And then here is 58. So when it is 58% and when it is 62%. So 58%, the value is, this is 58, the value here is 0.23 and this is 0.28. And when 62 is 0.19 and 0.25. I hope you are understanding. So it is, the value comes like this. Now it is 58%. When it is in the top one, it is 78% and bottom is 58%. Then the value given here is 0.23. And when top is 82% and when bottom is 58%, then the value given here is 0.28. Now, when it is 62%, then the value given here is 0.19 and the value given here is 0.25. Now what I have to find out is, I have to find out 80. So this is 80 I have to find out here. This is 80. Now how will I find out 80? I find out that the difference between 78 and 82 is 4. And when the difference is 4, the difference in the value is 0.05. And when the difference is 1, then you can find out. And when the difference, because 78 and 80, the difference is 2, then what is the value here? So let me calculate. Are you understanding or not? Because more than that, I cannot do. It is online. Are you understanding or not? Please let me know. Okay, Subhash Chaudhary, thank you very much. जुगेश, मैं फिर दोबारा आपको बता रहा हूं. देखिए ये 78 है जहां मेरा कर्सर है और ये 82 है जहां मेरा कर्सर है और ये टॉप 27% आप यहां देख रहे हैं जो मैंने इसको अभी शिफ्ट किया. ये टॉप 27% है. ये जुगेश समझ में आ गया इतना? तो मेरे को 80 लेना है तो 80% 78 और 82 के बीच में होगा. इतना तो आप समझते हैं. तो मेरे को अब दूसरा है मेरा 60, ये बॉटम में है. तो ये बॉटम मेरा यहाँ है साइड में. अब मेरे को 60 लेना है तो मेरे पास 58 है और 62 है. तो देखिए मैं यहाँ पे जाऊंगा और ये मेरा 58, ये मेरा 58 आ गया आप यहां देख लीजिए कर्सर, ये 58 है, और जब ये 58 है तो ये मेरी दो वैल्यू आ गई, 78 और 82 पे, और जब ये 62 है तो ये वैल्यू आ गई मेरी 78.19 और 82.25, और 58% पे आई जब 78 है 0.23 और ये 0.28। अब जुगेश समझ में आया या नहीं आया? जुगेश आ गया? अच्छा चलिए, ये वैल्यू मैंने यहां पे लिखी है, ये वैल्यू मैंने यहां लिख दी है कि अगर दिस इज टॉप 27%, और ये है बॉटम 27%, तो जब टॉप 27% 78 है और यहाँ पे बॉटम में 58% है 0.23, और टॉप में 82% है, तो ये इतना 78 और 82 में कितना डिफरेंस हुआ जुगेश? जुगेश 78 में और 82 में कितना डिफरेंस हुआ? जब इनमें 4 का डिफरेंस है तो इन वैल्यूज में कितना डिफरेंस हुआ? 0.23 और 0.28 में। Tabassum, please, it is not 4%. These values are in decimal. I want the difference between the 0.23 and 0.28. तो कितना डिफरेंस हुआ जुगेश? जुगेश कितना हुआ प्लीज बताइए। तबस्सुम आंसर करेक्ट है, सुबोध करेक्ट है। तो इन दोनों के अंदर डिफरेंस 0.28 माइनस 0.23, तो ये आ जाएगा 0.05, और जब एक का डिफरेंस आएगा तो इसका मतलब है कि 0.05 डिवाइडेड बाय 4, और 0.05 डिवाइडेड बाय 4 कितना आया? 0.0125 आ जाएगा। और मेरे को चाहिए 78 और 80 में कितना डिफरेंस है? 2 का। अगर 2 का डिफरेंस है तो कितना आया? ये आ जाएगा 0.0125 is multiplied by 2। तो ये आ जाएगा 0.015 आ जाएगा। तो ये इतना हुआ। तो आप देखिए यहाँ पे वैल्यू जब 78% है टॉप का और बॉटम का 58 है, ये वैल्यू है 0.23, और जब 82 है तो 0.258, तो ये इंक्रीज हो रही हैं। तो मैं 0.23 में I will add this. So I will add 0.23. अब जब मैं 0.23 ऐड करूंगा तो ये वैल्यू हो जाएगी 0.245 आ जाएगी। तो ये मेरी वैल्यू आ गई 0.245. This is the value which I have got. अब इसी तरह से मैं लोअर वाली वैल्यू निकाल लूंगा कि लोअर वाली वैल्यू कितनी आएगी। कैन एनी वन ऑफ यू टेल मी के लोअर की क्या वैल्यू आनी चाहिए? जब 4 का डिफरेंस है तो इनमें कितना डिफरेंस है? 0.19 और 0.25 में, तो 0.06 का डिफरेंस है। और जब 1 का डिफरेंस है तो ये आपका हो जाएगा 0.06 डिवाइडेड बाय 4। और जब ये 2 का डिफरेंस है, जब 2 का डिफरेंस है तो मैं 0.06 डिवाइडेड बाय 4 को मैं इसको मल्टीप्लाई करूंगा बाय 2 से। और जब मैं ये करूंगा तो ये हो जाएगा 0.06 डिवाइडेड बाय 2 और ये हो जाएगा 0.03। तो देयरफॉर ये वैल्यू इंक्रीज हो रही हैं। तो 0.03 प्लस 0.19 तो ये हो जाएगा 0.22। तो दिस वैल्यू इज 0.2। So I have got the value for 80. Now I want value for 60. Now I have to calculate the value of 60. So 60 will be somewhere here. And if I calculate the value of 60, how will I calculate? That when it is 58%, then the value is this. And when it is 62%, the value is this. The difference between them is 4. And when 4 is the difference, then what is the difference between 0.245 and 0.22? So that will be 0.025. 0.025 is the difference. Okay, because when you are going that 0.245 minus 0.22. So this will be this. And when it is 1, then this will be 0.25 divided by 4. And when it is this, then it means 25 divided by 4. And when it is this, then it is 25 divided by 2 it will be. And when you divide it by this, then the answer will be, it is 0.0125. Okay, so that will be for the difference is 2. So for 60, 58 and this one, it is 2. So from this 0.245, I have to subtract 0.0125. Why? Because when you are going down, the values are decreasing. So therefore, I have to find out this. Now this will be the value. And the value here will be, let us minus. That when you have 0.245 minus, it is 0.0125. So it will be that 0.2325. So this value is 0.2325. Now this is the value here. And so therefore here the discrimination will be 0.2325. That becomes the value. So this is how you can calculate for the other one. I'm not going to calculate. Now, first of all, you have to decide whether your item is discriminating or not. Now, this particular item is discriminate. If the value of the discrimination is 0.2 or more than 0.2, the discrimination index value must be either equal to or greater than 0.020. 0.20. Now this value is 0.63. So this 0.63 is more than 0.20, so it discriminates. Now the second one, it does not discriminate because the value is 0. So therefore it is rejected. So I will write here remark. It is rejected. Now see the third one. In the third one, this particular question is defective. Why? Because majority of the people from the bottom, they have got the majority of the people from the bottom have got the answer correctly, and from top they have got less number of the people answer it correctly. So then it means this question is defective. And if it is defective, then it is rejected. Because the discrimination value should always be positive. It should not be negative. The moment it is negative, then it means the item is to be rejected. So that you have understood now. Now, so you are the first item here, the discrimination is 0.63, perfectly correct. Now difficulty level is 60. 60% means that 60% of the people are giving the correct answer. So that means it is above average. So that means it is not very difficult item. So you say it is accepted. So this item is selected. Now this item is very easy because 70% of the people are giving the correct answer, and here discrimination is 0.23, so you may select it. So you can keep on, first of all, looking to the discrimination index. And if your discrimination index is not more than 0.20, then the item is rejected altogether. And if your discrimination index is negative, then also item is to be rejected. and those items which are not rejected, then you have to decide how many items you want very easy and how many items you want very difficult and how many items you want of average difficulty level. Now, this will depend upon the objective, that for what purpose are you developing that test. If you are developing a test or standardizing a test for the entrance examination, like IIT or IIM, then naturally majority of your question must be difficult. So difficulty level must be very high. Okay. So therefore, that is the point which you have to keep in. But in the normal annual examination, you do not want majority of the people to fail. So there, the difficulty level is very low. So less number of the question will be difficult and more number of the question will be easy. So this is how you can use this particular, and you can select the item from the test. I hope you have understood it. Now, all those items which have been selected, now you keep them ready, and after keeping them ready, now you can go ahead with the establishing the reliability, validity, and the norms. So I'm now taking that those items which are selected. So you can, if you wanted to take 30 items, you can take the best 30 items, because the items which you had was 45 items. So some of the items will be rejected, and whatever the best item you have, the item which has a better discrimination you should keep, and which have low discrimination around 0.2 or something like this, you can delete them. But if you do not have sufficient number, then 0.20, you can take it, no problem. Now, you keep these items and arrange it in the form of a test paper. And I hope you know the structure of the test, that you write the name of the test, and then you write the name and age and gender and all that personal, whatever the information that you want. Now, once you have got that, then next is you put the instruction. Okay, this is your test booklet is there. But I had told you that you should not use the test booklet, because if you are collecting the data from larger number of the people, then you need larger number of the test booklet, and it will be the wastage of the time. So therefore, now when we are going to the final tryout, so in the final tryout, we have to take a fresh sample. During the procedure, I have explained you that individual tryout was done on 25 people. So you are not taking these 25 people again. Now your group, the group tryout you have done on the basis of the 400 people. So you are not going to take these 400 people again. So that means 425 people are out. So whatever is your population, from this population, do not take these people for your final tryout. Now for final tryout, it all depends upon how large the sample you want, because it depends upon the utility of the tool that you want to standardize. So you have to take approximately say I can write any number, approximately 600. But if you think the number is too large, you can take less, depending upon the size of your population. Because I don't know for which population you will be developing that particular test. So therefore, accordingly, you can decide whether your population which you have is, because somebody told one of the participants that wanted to do some research on special children, and there were only 52 people. Now it is 52 people, you can't do anything with 52, it is too small. So you can't develop the tool. Okay, and you cannot do a very good study. So this can be one of the problem which you may encounter. So that what you have to take care. If it is normal, then the number may not be a very difficult one. If it is not normal, then yes, number may be a problem. So now you take these 600 people belonging to different places. Now you go to one particular institute and administer it, this tool, on whatever the number available. The way you have done in the group tryout, in the same way you can do it in the final tryout also. After taking permission from the principal, you can go to the class and introduce yourself and tell you the purpose of your coming. And after that, you give the instructions to them as how they should give their responses. Now, once they understand the responses, the mode of responses to be given, then you can give one copy of the answer sheet first. Why? Because on answer sheet, they have to write their name, their gender, and other information that you require. Okay. And once they have done that, now you distribute the test booklet. And when you are distributing the test booklet, remind them that please do not put any mark on any page and any number. And any rough work you want to do it at the back of the answer sheet, not on the test booklet, because you can tell them that these test booklet will be used again. Okay, so therefore now you have to administer it. For some of the people you administer in the morning, some in the afternoon. And when you are taking, you take the boys and the girls, from urban area, from rural area, etc., whatever the variable that you want to keep. And now you are ready for establishing the reliability. Now there are different methods of establishing the reliability. One of the method is called retest method. I need not to explain it to you. It is self-explanatory that the tool which you have developed and whose reliability you want to establish, you have to administer it on 600 people. And that will be and then you do the scoring. So that becomes your test. Now on the same people, after some time, then you again re-administer. So retest. Now when you are doing testing and retesting, the time gap between test and retest may vary from 10 to 40 days. See, more the time gap between test and retest, then what will happen is that some of the characteristics which your tool will be assessing, those characteristics may undergo a change. And if they undergo a change, then it means the reliability will differ, because your score in the test will not be the same in the retest because of the time gap, and during time gap, the children must have matured. And due to maturation, quite possible that those questions, those items which they could not answer correctly, they may answer correctly later on, or their responses, they may change. Earlier on the scale, their responses were something, and later on they may change their responses because of the experience. So therefore, if you want to have the larger number of the time gap between test and retest, you can have it, but the reliability coefficient will be low. So now you have to decide the time gap. And if you see the literature, all those people who have established the reliability using test-retest method, normally some of them, they have used 10 days, some 15 days, some 20 days, and something like that. So you can decide your own. So what you have to do is that you have here your serial number, you have here your test, and this is your retest. Now, the first person, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11, 12, 13, 14. And let's say this is your 400. Now you have administered it on a group of 400. So you have got their score here. So you have got their score. Now at the gap of 10 days or 15 days, whatever you want, you are administering the same tool, whether it is test or scale or inventory. This method will be applicable to all. So if it is a test, you are administering it again after whatever the gap you want. If it is a scale, you are administering it again after the gap, whatever you decide. And now second time when you are administering, then after that you do the scoring. So the first person score, you know, he was present in the retest. The second person was absent. So if he was absent, you cannot, you have to take out the score of this particular person. The third person was there, the fourth was there, the fifth was there, he was absent. Then this person was there, this person was there, this person was there, and then you have this person was also there. Now you have to take the score of those people who were present in the test as well as in the retest. So your number will be less than 600. It's not 400, it is 600. So it will be less than 600. So you have to take out the score of those people who were present in the test and who were present in the retest, and then you have to find out the correlation. To find out correlation between test and retest scores. And this correlation must be greater than 0.5. If your correlation value is higher than 0.5, then you can say your test is reliable. The higher the value of the correlation, the higher will be the reliability coefficient. So you can say the reliability coefficient, test, retest, reliability coefficient is so and so. Now here I am asking you the question that here the correlation value is always positive. Why correlation value is always positive? Can any one of you answer this question? You did not answer. I've asked many questions to you, but you did not answer. And you did not bother to ask me that you want the answer of the question. Anyway, think about it, because people may ask this question when you face any interview for the job or for the higher post. So therefore, you have to find out. Now, this method is applicable for all types of the tool. So this method is applicable for test, scale, as well as inventory. Okay, so this is a very, very common method which people use in order to establish the reliability. The second method of establishing the reliability is split half method, or it is also called odd even method. Now this particular, if you have to use a split half method for establishing the reliability, then as the name suggests, that you have to split the test. Now here you have to administer it only once. Now in the test retest, the same tool was administered twice. So the test retest is time consuming and is costly, but it does not require any other assumption. perfectly correct, you can use it. But in the split half method, there are a lot of important points that you have to note down. Number one is that when you are splitting the items, you must have equal number of the items in both the parts. So here your number of the items cannot be even. Sorry, cannot be odd. So you have to have even number of items. Whereas in case of test retest, it doesn't matter whether your items are even number or the items are odd number. It does not matter at all, because you are not dividing the complete tool into the two parts. This is one important thing. Another is when you are dividing the complete tool into the two parts, so two parts must be parallel. Parallel in respect of number one, number of items, then types of items. Okay, once I say types means if they are multiple choice, then you must have multiple choice of. Then each aspect, each dimension must be represented. Each dimension must be represented. Now, if it is a test, then you should have in both the parts the items with the same discrimination index. In case of test, items with the same difficulty level and discrimination index. So there must be item with the same difficulty level and same discrimination index. Okay, in case of a scale, there must be equal number of positive and negative items. Both parts must have equal number of positively worded and negatively worded items. Now, why it is called odd? Because your first item is odd. Your second item is even. So 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. These are odd items. 2, 4, 6, 8 will be the even items. So therefore, what you can do is you administer the tool on 600 subjects and do the scoring. So you have done the scoring, and now you can tabulate the scores. Now, here I'm inserting a table just to tell you now. Here is your serial number. Here your first item, second item, third item, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you have 30 items, this is your 30 item. Now you have the first person. This is second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have your 600, these are the 600 people. Now, if it is a scale, and if you have a scale where you have the 3-point scale, then your maximum score can be 3 on an item and minimum can be 1. If it is a test, then you are somewhere, your item maybe answer may be correct, you get 1 score, and where answer is wrong, you will get 0. So in case of test, your item, somewhere item you may have 0, somewhere you have 1. And in case of a scale, you will have either 3 or 2. If it is a 5-point scale, then on a particular item, a particular person may have 5 score, another person may have 3, another may have 1, depending upon the response. So do you want me to explain to you of a test or of a scale? Inventory also it will be the same. So do you want for the test or do you want for the scale? The procedure will be the same. It doesn't make a difference. Only when I'm writing the here marks will be the only one that you have to take care. And here, then you can have it the total marks. You can add the marks, and therefore then you will have the marks, no problem at all. Okay, so you have your total marks. Now, if you add the marks of all odd, item number 1, whatever is the marks here, item number 3, item number 5, 7, 9, etc. That will be the total marks of the first person on odd items. So you can find out the marks on the odd items. So you can find out here the items, and here is your, and here is your, okay, item, and here is your serial number, and here is your odd items, and here is your even items. Now you have the first person, you know the second person, you have third, fourth, fifth, like this. So you know the marks here, you know the marks here. Now you know the marks on the odd, and you know the marks on the even. Marks on the odd and marks on the even. Now, when I say odd, that means it is half of the tool. It's not full. It is half. And when I say even, also it is half. So when you find out the correlation between odd and even, then this will be the correlation between half and half. It is correlation between half and half. Now, once you know this is the correlation between half of the tool with the half of the tool, and suppose this correlation is 0.6. Now you have to find out the reliability of the whole tool. This will be the reliability of the half of the tool. So now there were two people and they gave the formula which they used to compute the split half method correlation for the whole tool. It is Spearman-Brown. It is called Spearman-Brown formula. So what these people, they did was, they said something like this. They said that R11 means full tool. It's not half. Full tool with the full tool. This is equal to 2 multiplied by R half and R half. Why we have multiplied by 2? Because when R half and R half is multiplied by 2, it becomes full. So this is the one, and then this is divided by 1 plus R half and R half. Now you should understand you cannot have minus here, because if it is minus, then correlation will be more than 1. And the correlation value cannot go more than 1. So that is why you have to use it plus. Now here, if you have, because R half is 0.6, then I can say that this is equal to 2 multiplied by 0.6. And this is divided by 1 plus 0.6. Now, if you see this, 2 multiplied with 0.6 is 1.2 divided by 1.6. And this will be equal to 0.75. So this is how you have to calculate the reliability for the complete tool. The advantage of the split half is you have to administer only once. But the disadvantage is that many a times when you are splitting the items into the two parts, sometimes you do not get equivalent items. So when you want to select the items after the group tryout, then you have to keep in your mind that whether you want to establish the reliability with the help of split half method or test retest method. If it is a split half method, then you have to select the two items which belong to the same aspect. And if they are the scale, either both are positively worded or both are negatively worded. If it is a test, they must belong to the same. They must assess the same content. They must be having same difficulty level, same discrimination index. Not exactly the same, but quite close to each other. Otherwise, you cannot have two parallel forms. Because one particular tool, you are divided into two parallel parts. So that is what is more important. So therefore, if this is how you have to compute your correlation for the whole of the tool by using the Spearman-Brown formula. Now you have seen that a split half is slightly better than the test retest, but there are some restrictions, because in the test retest, it doesn't matter whether all items are having the same difficulty level or different difficulty level, whether the items are odd number or even number, all those type of, whether for one aspect there might be 2 items or for another aspect there might be 5 items, it doesn't matter. But in the split half, that is important. And that is why many a times those people who establish the reliability of their tool with the help of the split half method, their reliability coefficient comes out to be very low. And this is very low because of the reason that when they have divided the items, they did not divide it carefully. And if you do that carefully, then it has a advantage over the test retest, because you can save time, you can save money, etc., etc. So this is how you have to establish the split half reliability. Now there is another one, and which it is called parallel form method. Parallel form or alternative form. Parallel form or alternative form method. Now, if you want to establish the reliability using this particular method, then my dear friend, you must know it beforehand. I told you when I was talking about the item analysis on the basis of the group tryout, I told you that there are some methods where you need the two tools having the same number of the items. And if they are the test, the same difficulty level, the same discrimination index, then they will be parallel. So if you want to establish that, so beforehand, you have to keep it in the mind. So when you are writing the items, you must write items. If on one form, you want to have 30 items, then in the two form, you need 60 items. And then when you are writing, you must write 120 items according to the rule, double the number required. But if you are not able to write 120, you can write 100 items. Okay? So therefore, you have to keep that. Now, when you are selecting, you are doing your item analysis. So you have to select the 60 items. And these 60 items must be parallel in terms of the aspect, in terms of the type of the items, in terms of the weightages, etc., etc. So now you can have the form A and form B. Form A and form B. Now you do require these two forms because sometimes you are administering the same tool for the selection purpose twice in a particular city. And if you do not have a parallel form, then whatever the test you administer in one particular institute, by evening, majority of your items will be out. Because the students among themselves, they will be talking that one team has come and they administer the test, and this particular test had these type of items, etc., etc. So it may be advantageous to some other group. So therefore, for this type of selection purpose, it is better to have the two forms. You know, these days, GRE, your TOEFL, your UGC NET exam, your CAT exam, they are not on one particular day. Because they are online, so they continue for months together. So therefore, they have to have items which are equally divided, equally difficult, equally easy, etc., etc. So everybody gets the item, you know, of the same difficulty level belonging to the same domain, etc. It's not easy. It is very, very difficult. I remember this IBPS, Institute of Banking Personnel Selection. They used to have 4 sets, set 1, set 2, set 3, and set 4. And the seating arrangement used to be 4 plus 2. That means in one particular row, only 6 people will sit. Okay? Or if you want to have more number of the people, then the 4 multiplied by 2 plus 2. 4 multiplied by 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. then in one particular row, there can be 10 people. Now, why you have this type of thing? Because you are giving A set to one, B set to another C and D, and then A and B, and then again C and D. So the people, those who are sitting side by side, they do not have the same form. So the questions used to be the same, but the sequencing of the question, they were changing. So the each group will have 50 questions, but the question number 1 in set 1 and question number 1 in set 2, set 3, set 4 will not be the same. The question number 1 in set 1 is, say, suppose 1. The same question in set 2, it may be 30th. The same question in set 3, it may be 5. The same question in another set will be at some other serial. But the total question, everything will be the same. Only the sequencing will be different. Just to avoid the cheating. Because people cheat, you know, it's not very, anyway, very good thing, you know it. So what you do, that you have this form A. If there are 30 items here in form B, the 30 items, they are having same difficulty, discrimination, etc., etc. Now, you can administer any one you like first. You can, now you have to administer both on 600 people. So either you can administer form A first. If you are going to one institute, administer form A, and you are going in the morning, administer form A. It will take, say, 1 hour. Then if the same institute permits, then after the gap of 1 hour or 1.5 hours, the form B can be administered on the same students. If they do not allow, then you have to come back to the same institute the next day in the morning. The time gap between form A and form B administration can be maximum 24 hours. It cannot be more than 4. If it is more than 24 hours, then the difference will be there in the reliability coefficient will be low. So you have to administer these on whatever the serial number that you are having. So you have the 600 people. And if you have the 600 people, so you have your first person, you have second person, you have your third person, you have your fourth. So you have their score on the form A and the score on the form B. Now, for the second item, you have the score on the form A and you have the score on the form B. Now for the third one, you have the score on the form A and you have the score on the form B. So you will have the 2 sets of the score, form A and form B. Now in form A, the item may be odd or even, it doesn't matter. But if it is odd, in form A, in form B also they are odd. Now you can find out the correlation, and your correlation must be greater than 0.5. So this is how you can calculate the reliability by using the parallel form or alternative form method. So thank you very much. I'm stopping it here. I still have the another method is Richardson method. This Richardson formula, not method, formula 20. This is the one. And this Richardson can be used only and only for the test. It cannot be for the scale. It cannot be for your inventory. Okay, so therefore, this I'm going to tell you tomorrow. There is formula 21 and 20. So 20 will be used when your items are having different difficulty level. But if all your items are of the same difficulty level, then it is formula 21. So normally you will have items which will have the different difficulty level. So therefore, formula 20 is more applicable. Okay. All right. So see you tomorrow. Till then, stay safe. Keep learning.